StreamYard said
It's
that
live.
they're live. Oh, look at
Hey.
that! There's 4 seconds, 5
Hey.
seconds. Hello,
Welcome,
internet.
welcome to Spoiler Talk. I'm your host Deviant, and today we're going to talk about Black Adam, House of the Dragon, and Anime Fall 2020.
Excellent.
Yay!
Hooray!
Go team.
Go team.
Go team. Well, I guess we'll start with Black Adam since that's still fresh in our minds.
Oh yes, it is relatively fresh. I only saw it twice, so horrible film.
Yeah, it's
horrible
been a
film.
whole hour for me.
Mm,
Well,
No,
maybe two. I don't know. Car
Like
rides
two.
make me all confused.
yeah.
If memory serves, I do recall that I enjoyed the film.
Yeah.
I
It was
mean,
definitely better than I expected.
I mean, we
Given-
discussed.
Yeah, given the track record of like what's been happening with superhero movies.
Or just
I do
And
have my-
DC in general.
Yeah,
Ah,
I
He's
do have
blasting.
I do have my criticisms with the movie, but overall, it was like it wasn't like refreshing, but it was definitely like, oh, thank God, like a superhero movie that wasn't completely bad and completely woke. It was just it was a superhero movie that was a superhero movie.
for me,
I
I'm
was just
incredibly
happy
biased.
that it wasn't bad and it wasn't Batman. So yes.
Yeah.
I'm just incredibly biased because obviously we had Dwayne the Rock Johnson, and I was pretty much sold at that cast. So going into the film, if it was bad, it would have turned into one of those films where, oh well, the film was bad, but man, did the Rock carry it all the way.
I like how
He
you
is
say
a very
fan of that
handsome man.
cast, but the only two notable names in that movie were Dwayne and Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, I admit that I did not know anybody. Not that I keep up on celebrity anything.
Yeah, I know the well, what's his name? Hawkman. What's his actor's name?
Oh, good God! I have no
Hal-
idea.
Al-
Aldous
I think it's-
Hodge.
Yeah, Aldous Hodge. I think
that's
he,
the one in the credits.
yeah, I think he's more known for shows than movies.
I
But have,
legitimately don't recognize him.
yeah, I have seen him before in some shows.
Well, I thought he played a good role. I mean, I did not have a single problem
Yeah.
with him.
I mean, he was my favorite character in the movie.
It was enjoyable.
I
He
like
played
that.
a phenomenal Hawkman.
Yeah,
I
and,
really did not have
and-
any.
and it was one of those things where it's like, I mean, Andrew's kind of the expert, but like, Hawkman isn't traditionally a black character, right?
Well, see, here's the
I
thing.
don't
He's
remember.
Egyptian.
Oh,
He's a what?
Hawkman's Egyptian. Carter Hall is Egyptian.
Oh,
oh,
really? Interesting.
Yes. Or he's an alien from Thanagar, which.
Yeah, I was about to say I thought he was an alien.
Whoa, that escalated fast.
Hawkman's origin is definitely a confusing one.
he's Egyptian or he's alien. That was a jump. Oh, I didn't...
It's just so hard to tell most of the time. I guess depending on where he is in the world, he could be an illegal alien. So in that way, it's not that big of a jump.
I
But
think it's more like depending on which DC universe he's from, because
Universe
it's literally,
64.
pick your poison.
yeah,
Uh,
I kind of
Well-
prefer the Egyptian one because I like the whole reincarnation thing.
he has a
oh yeah, I heard
reincarnation
about
thing?
that.
Yeah, he reincarnates every time he dies. Him and his love, Shiera Hall.
Well, that's hilarious considering that the film. Well, this is spoiler talk after all, so
Yeah.
spoilers. But
Yeah.
when Dr. Fate dies in order to keep him alive, I guess they're not running with that line.
Well, yes or no, because he also had that line where he said he wasn't afraid to die.
True. Then why did Dr. Fate even think to protect him from dying?
Unless
Well,
Is
he's
it-
because he would still lose his friend.
But he reincarnates
Yeah,
with all his
'cause when you
memories,
mean
or
by
is he reincarnates with nothing?
because when you mean by reincarnate, do you mean like he dies and then he's just like reborn, or like he dies and gets resurrected?
He is reborn.
Yeah,
Okay, so he's a brand
Yeah.
new one.
yeah. So I can see him be like, yeah,
so he
Okay,
could be reborn as a total tool.
Well,
Yeah.
he will have his memories. He does keep his memories.
yeah.
Oh,
But it,
well,
but But yeah, you can still understand why Doctor Fate would
It makes
like
more sense now
yeah
because I get it, but he will remember him. But at the same time, it's he has to be reborn, and then he has to be a little 1-year-old. And I mean, wow,
Hard to go out drinking with your toddler friend.
it would be hilarious.
And if you can see the future, you need to go out drinking often.
I mean, he's been alive for 100 years. What's another 100 years to wait for his friend to get raised? I'm assuming. Oh wait, I guess the reincarnation thing is perpetual. Even if he dies of old age, it doesn't just die from being stabbed to death or something.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, the movie was a good watch. It was entertaining. Would I drive an hour to see it? Probably not, but
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
movie definitely had its problems, and I don't know if it's because it took so long for this movie to get made since they announced The Rock as Black Adam.
it's been years
Because
for sure.
yeah, it is really hard to tell if like this movie was cut and and edited from different times, or they actually said oh no, we're actually going to film this movie within 6 months.
Well, I think that might be the truth because if you follow social media, and now I don't do a lot of it, it's just that I do kind of follow The Rock a little bit. He was very open, and he's very open on social media, and he posted how he just got the script of Black Adam about I think it was like a year or so ago, or 1 or 2 years ago. So I think that it actually was shot probably pretty close together. And not so broken up in the span of the entire, ensemble to get to all the way to the movie theater.
Yeah, so it definitely sounds like it was more of a studio thing that they just waited to start filming.
Yeah, I would say
or
that
the script was jumping from writer to writer, and they were just, they were like, "This is The Rock. We're not going to give him a half-ass script."
Well, yeah, and not to mention, what did Andrew say? Because at the end of the film, how Dwayne pushed really hard for our God damn it, what's the actor's name who plays Superman?
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill. So he pushed really hard to get him in it. So I would imagine that Dwayne was very, very involved in everything. So I'm sure that those things played a factor as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
I mean,
was-
but you mentioned the script, and honestly, one of my biggest problems was I mean, we all know Black Adam ain't exactly the nicest guy in the world.
Of course
And
not. He's an
so, yeah,
anti-hero.
it
He's
introduces this
supposed to be a villain,
character,
though.
and and this stupid little kid finds him. He's like, "Oh my god, here!" And he starts babbling all of this like superhero jargon. And Black Adam handles it kind of how you'd expect him to, where it's just like, "Oh, you gotta have your one-liner before you kill him. Why would I waste words on the dead?" And and so he
Classic.
says all this stuff, but then he starts doing all of those things. So it's kind of like, why? This is a guy who's thousands of years old, away from home, stuck in a shitty city. And like, why is he going to listen to this kid? Why doesn't he just, go ham? And I mean, you understand why he protects them because he is fundamentally a decent human being. But so what he does makes sense. But for him to listen the way he does, and I know it's mainly done to just like inject some humor into it.
Not to mention humanize
But
him.
I mean, I thought it kind of clashed with what I expected his character to be.
I don't
So
disagree.
it was like it just seemed out of place, and the humor felt completely flat to me because it was so out of place.
I got
But don't worry, we had Adam Smasher in there for all the other good humor. So
yeah,
more
I
or
got some
balances out.
major like Terminator 2 Judgment Day vibes with the whole like here's this guy who is like kind of like doesn't know or what's going on, and just like there was that weird familiarity that's supposed to be a bond between I guess the kid and him. And I did feel that the kid brought probably I guess the weakest performance to the film, because I was like, okay, yeah, he's a big superhero fan, and I don't know, there was a couple of times in the film that I kind of was sitting there going, okay, cool kid, I guess.
Why does anyone listen to you again?
Oh, definitely the one that's a big standout is at the end of the film when he's like, "Come on, guys," and he holds up his hands like, "We gotta fight."
Yeah.
I was like, "Wow,
Oh
really
yeah, we're
selling
about
that."
to be attacked by a swarm of zombies. Let's hold our hands up. Is this
Yeah.
really the right time?
He is not
there
exactly
are
a
other things we
motivational
could be doing.
speaker.
There's barricades, food supplies, actual weapons instead of whatever debris we get our hands on.
Gotta get
Yeah,
them pipes, man.
It
Gotta lay
definitely
them
was.
pipes.
It definitely was that moment. It's like, look, kid, if we're about to have a revolution, you're the last person who's gonna lead us.
Oh my god.
He was not all too convincing.
It comes down to the skateboard. I swear to God. I mean, the skateboard was fine in like a couple of scenes, but like I got to the point where it's like, okay.
When
so
he
now
was following Black Adam down the stairs, and every time he got to a level, he rode the skateboard just to get to the next stairs. I'm like, okay, you're either lazy or dumb because you don't need to keep like he goes down the stairs, ride skateboard, goes down the stairs, ride skateboard, and it's like the trip from stair to stairs isn't that long. It's just it felt really.
See, the thing that bugged me about this freaking skateboard was when he was sneaking out of the building and he starts riding on his skateboard. It's like, hey, what's the noisiest way possible you can move? Riding your skateboard, nice.
Mind you, a skateboard from a third world country. You're gonna need some oil for those wheels.
Well, the only time that the skateboard even remotely made sense was, shocker, in the opening scene when the kid was introduced, when he's running around in the streets, because it has a nice way of like tracking with the camera, showcase a bunch of sights, and he's like hanging onto the cars. That logistically is fine, and it makes for good shots. But literally everything that comes afterwards is you sit there go, dude, just walk.
Hey, that's not true. I'm pretty sure he uses the skateboard to hit at least one zombie.
No, bullshit.
makes
The
sense.
mother is the only one that uses it as a goddamn weapon, and she's boss.
But going back to like The Rock basically listening to the kid, I think the issue is that he basically says, "I'm not listening to what you say," but then immediately the next scene starts listening to what the kid says, and there wasn't like it was definitely missing a scene of him bonding with the kids and him being like, "Well, I'm new to this world, and you're young and you know more about the world than I do. Maybe I should listen to you." And that wouldn't have been a logical leap, or no, an illogical leap, and it would have worked better. But they didn't do that. It was just the kid just being like, "No, you need to do this and be a superhero, have a catchphrase, and blah blah blah." And The Rock's just like, "No." But then when the fight breaks out, he proceeds to do what the kid says.
I mean, I agree, and so for the most part, because again, the catchphrase things, it's kind of like, the bonded. Bye, player 6.
Bye. Well, hopefully his internet kicks back in, but
well, we'll see if he returns.
We'll
But as
see.
I was saying, at the end of the day, I agree with everything that player 6 was saying when it comes with the catchphrase and everything. I didn't really have too much of a problem in terms of the progressional, because I felt that Dwayne did a very good job of just like, he's a very expressive man. Like, he's got eyebrows for days.
yeah.
And that furrowed brow is just something that conveys so much emotion, and you can just see how much he's brooded in like every and the degree, and his smirks are just on level. He doesn't have to say anything, and he does a great job. And I just felt that overall, because like, when you have like he's going down the stairs and the kids stupidly follow with the skateboard, he goes back and forth, but then at the end of the day, he bursts out the window and just kind of floats away, and the kid's like, "Where are you going?" It's like, "I'm in my own head. I'm dealing with shit. Leave me alone. It's been 5,000 years."
Yeah.
And then of course when the kid actually gets in trouble, I mean, because instinctually he more or less is, okay, I'd probably save him. He did the same thing for the mother when she first came in. So in my mind and the way I saw it, it tracked well. But I still go back to, the Man in Black says it's funny, but we had Adam Smasher. We really didn't need it.
Yeah.
I do think D has a point when he says there were a few things in that movie where I think there were missing scenes that would have helped things progress, particularly in the building. In the beginning, things happened very quickly.
Yeah.
Well, how long was the runtime of the film? Actually, was it a 2-hour film?
It was
I believe so.
2 hour. It was a 2 hour film. Yeah.
Okay. I
There,
mean,
def-
now it,
there were definitely some editing issues going on.
I mean, Grant,
Especially-
I forgive the beginning. The second the JSA showed up, I was having a ball. So
Yeah.
I
I mean,
forgive
that-
the beginning.
really did enjoy that because that was probably we've seen many different like variations of the slowdown scene in most hero films, but I really enjoyed that one. That was because it was just like how Dwayne just kind of like has like this bland expression. The bullets are literally just bouncing off his chin, and he just kind of looks over this. Pushes that one thing this way, rips a car in half, and then takes the other guy's grenade, shoves it in his mouth, and then the whole thing concludes. And you sit there and go, "I've seen this before, and yet I am satisfied."
It was funny where like the one scene where they're chasing the hover bikes, and as like him and Hawkman are having a conversation, the guy who's shooting him and the Rock is just unfazed.
I generally dislike that aspect because, I mean, we've seen Superman and a bunch of other heroes, obviously, but I really just liked how they just played up how Black Adam is just in general just so like unaffected by everything that mortals do. It's just literally everything they did nothing to him, and the bullets, like you just watched the bullets hit him, and it was like they vaporized upon impact. They did nothing, and then it's just like that one line that he uses in his own tongue of what? Oh wait, shit! What's the country called again? Kondok, and he just says, "Your magic is weak." It's like it's a bullet. It's not magic, but that's funny that you say that.
That was a baller line. I love that.
Yeah.
I thought that was great because because he has a couple of lines. I wish they played more of that up because he has a couple of lines that he does that, but I feel like we get away from it. And it would have been a lot more fun if he kept on saying things that was related to because what was it? What did he say? Because at one point the kid asks him in the early stages when like you didn't have mirrors back then, and there was another time that he says, the doors. It's like, did you have Pierce Brosnan's Dr. Fate says, did you have doors back then? Of course we did. That's how we got inside.
That's how we get it out of rooms, and it's just like, oh, so you just don't care.
Well, yeah, and that's where that circles back to what we were saying before. How we have these jokes with the kid and Black Adam, but the truth is that all you have to do is shit like that. Black Adam enters rooms by going through walls just because he can, and he doesn't care. That's a joke in itself. I mean, honestly, the sarcasm joke was a great joke because he completely does it wrong, and then he does it completely right because it's like, I love teams. That was sarcasm, right? Yes.
Oh yeah, I love it. Look at me. Oh, so you're practicing the sarcasm? No, that was just a lie you did.
And then that goes back to the scene. Just before that is just the interrogation scene in the sky. It's like, I just have one question: can you fly? Two mortals look back and forth to each other, very, very confused and terrified, and just get taken up into the sky. It's like, I'm not going to drop them. I'm only going to drop one of them. And then you just have Hawkman that has to pick up the slack and save them. And it really plays very well because, again, at Black Adam, and that's what I feel that they definitely did right, because Black Adam has no qualms with just murdering people, and that's exactly what he does. So you have that really nice duality that is with the Justice. Oh wait, I was about to say League, but it's Society. It's not the same thing.
like we couldn't get the big name actors in this one, so
they shouldn't call it Justice. They should call it, I don't know, something else.
But the thing is, there is such a thing as called the Justice Society.
I know. I'm sure it is.
It's a huge
I really.
Yeah.
Yep. It's just that every time I hear Justice Society, as I am not a big avid comic reader of the DC universe or just in superheroes in general, I enjoy the films and the characters, but I don't really follow it like that. So when I hear Justice Society, I just immediately want to say Justice League. My ignorance.
A
Yeah.
fun fact: at the end of the movie, with Atom Smasher being like, "Hey, we made a pretty good team." His Atom Smasher's arc in the comics actually has him start to join Black Adam more so than not because he starts to agree with how he does things.
Really?
That's really interesting. After all, I mean, I'm kind of, I guess at the end of the day, I kind of look at Black Adam and go, well, okay, so he's very cut, he's very black and white, and it's just you're bad, you die, you're good, you're saved. And I sit there and just go, no, he doesn't deal in grays. He's just black and white, and I tend to like that simplicity, when done right. And Black Adam is this kind of a character where you sit there and go, you're doing bad things, but you're murdering bad people. And I guess at the end of the day, I don't mind this. But that's just me, I guess.
Yeah. It definitely would have been nice to see more of Atom Smasher and what's the kills? Was it Tornado or Cyclone?
Cyclone.
I was just gonna say, it was
especially Cyclone, like the way I found it very interesting the way she moved around.
She was like a
When she,
dancer.
when she used her powers, because it wasn't jarring or like there wasn't times where I went, ooh, it doesn't look right. It actually looked really like well and good. That
It was
maybe
good
because half the
choreography.
time that maybe half the time I thought I kept thinking she looked like a My Hero Academia character with her
That-
outfit, but
That was the biggest disappointment with the JSA. The characters were done very well, but we weren't able to really dig into them.
yeah.
Like
Oh,
even,
so they,
even Hawkman, when it's just like, oh, so this is all made of nth metal? Oh yeah, the whole thing, it's indestructible. I'm sitting there going, oh, we're not going to explain nth metal at all, are we?
No.
I-
That went
yeah.
that went over my head. I was kind of like, you said words. The ship's indestructible. I'll just go with that then.
Yes,
What
and
the-
then
what-
and then it breaks and blows up.
like even with the Eternium, it's just like okay, this country is it's always occupied because it has a rare metal called Eternium, but yet we don't really know what it is and does,
I
and
felt.
and it
I'm sorry, I didn't want to
unfortunately
cut you off.
yeah, that's fine. And it unfortunately leads more to like what Marvel did with Vibranium, where before it was a little different because with Vibranium we were first introduced. It's like here's a metal. It's like its properties is that it absorbs vibrations. Thus, it's basically which is why Captain America has an indestructible shield. It's why Black Panther has I say near indestructible shield, a near indestructible suit. But then it got to a point where it's like, oh, it could also be used for hypersonic frequencies to disable the unstable material of vibranium. It could be used to power ships. It can be used to heal people, and it starts doing different things. And Eternium and Black Adam kind of leans more towards that, where it's like here's a really rare material, and we first see it used basically to create a magical artifact. But then we fast forward to the present, and it's like, oh, it's also used for missiles, and it's like, but why?
Well,
I mean,
I guess
going off of
it's
that,
infusing in magical properties. I guess is what it effectively is doing. And I don't know, from a person who doesn't really know any of that, and as I watched the film, really felt that at the end of the day, I was given enough information. Again, for me personally, because okay, what is Eternium? It's a rare resource. Cool, great. Okay, so what does it do? Well, it has magical properties. It's just it's a special ore. Okay, and why do you want it? Oh, I want to make a crazy crown that can infuse the power of the 6 demons of hell. Oh, so it's that kind of special rare metal. And then it's like, okay, in the future, 5,000 years later, we're using that to make stuff. Well, what do you make it? We make this rocket. Huh, that's a probably powerful rocket. And it shows because it hurts Black Adam. And then what's the next thing we see?
Never touch on again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And
It basically hurts him. It's like, oh, this is going to be a plot point, right? And then he just heals himself, and then it's never introduced again.
yeah, because at the end of the day, that was a little bit of a downer because we got shown one Eternium weapon, like actual real Eternium weapon that actually, shot something. Whereas the rest of it is just the bikes that have I don't know, super freaking light speed.
Oh yeah, because I think the bikes were also. I mean, they don't explain it, but you could assume the bikes were powered by Eternium, and not only do they have hypersonic speed, they can have short range teleport.
Effectively, yes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, while they're being powered by Eternium, they don't have the ability to fire Eternium bullets. Well, I guess that costs too much money.
I mean, one could argue like making bullets would be more wasteful
Well, of course. Maybe
compared
they
to
had-
like. It's like, well, make one missile. Yeah, we could use it for something. We don't have to use it, but it's like Eternium bullets. It's like,
I guess at the end of the day, there really was just not enough time to probably incorporate a whole bunch of a huge ass arsenal. At the same time, though, it kind of doesn't make any sense that, especially at because we had like the siege on like their main facility at that mining location towards the end of the film, and you sit there and go, "Well, hold on a second. Okay, so we know that they have Eternium rockets, right? Sure." It's a rare resource. Well, of course. So they don't have a lot of it, right? Well, I would imagine they have some of it. So their main base of operations has no one that can fire these damn things. I just thought that was a little weird because everyone just has guns and no one got the memo that that does shit.
yeah,
Well, I mean, I guess they put all the Eternium into the Eternium shield, which at the same time makes me sit there and go, wait a second, hold on. So you mean to tell me that you made this Eternium shield? Yes. That's, I guess, located only in this position? Correct. But you know, why?
yeah. It's very convenient that you just happen to have this impenetrable shield in your main mine for Eternium.
I mean,
For reasons.
I get it at the end of the day that the plot point is that this main guy, what's his face, is trying to become Sabak, right? And he has a plan to do so. And he knows that in order for him to do it, he has to die while wearing a crown, or more specifically, he has to be killed by I almost said Death Adam because his name is Death Adam.
Death Adam.
But Black Adam has to kill him. And he understands that. So I can maybe understand that he knowing that maybe that would be useful had it made, but that still doesn't explain how this main big mining facility has no one armed with Eternian weapons. I get that no one, like, it never got to anybody that Eternium actually hurts Black Adam because, you know, no witnesses at all at Black Adam's last encounter with all the forces because they're all dead. No one got away the report saying, hey, you know what? Eternium actually hurts him. Maybe you should use it. But it just seems so kind of weird that, you know, big main facility. We know that they have rockets and other stuff for weaponry that is run on Eternium. You would think that maybe they would have some available.
That's an interesting point, though. Yeah, I guess nobody would know that works on him.
The plot didn't demand it.
Well, the plot just also didn't, not to mention it didn't quote unquote demand it, but it's just that technically any character that would have seen him injured was dead.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not, well, theoretically, that's probably, well, I mean, what's his face that wanted to be Sabak was buried in like rubble, so he might not have seen that entire thing go through. So there's a possibility that he could have seen that theoretically, but clearly not.
Yeah, it definitely did seem like it was like the whole plot point was like that. That's what like the area they're in is known for having Eternium, and it's like, okay, you have this here to create this crown, and it kind of became was like, well, we have to keep using the Eternium, right? They really didn't have to, and it definitely felt like it was just, oh well, we need to hurt Black Adam so they can take him back to their apartment. Well, we don't, there's no weapons that can hurt him. Oh, Eternium. And then later on, well, we need a way for this guy to have Black Adam to kill him. Oh, we'll just put him behind an impenetrable shield and then, you know, blackmail him with the kid. It's like it definitely felt like it's just like it was just convenient for them to do that. And again, it's just, for me, it's just one of those things where it's like when you introduce something like a MacGuffin like Eternium, you kind of need to explain why it's unique.
Well, the thing is, going off of what you were saying, more or less, is that yes, and the problem is that it's a superhero film and Black Adam's insanely powerful. One of the hardest things to write is dealing with these characters that are technically like almost borderline omnipotent, you know. And it's like, well, what actually could hurt him? And then it's like, okay, so I have to write in somewhere that this happens because I need this character from the move from point A to point B. I mean, sure, it's not good. It's not the best writing. I mean, we all seen it plenty of times, you know. So, yeah, weren't given a educational lesson on Eternium. Could we have used a better lesson? I guess, but I guess at the end of the day, I kind of felt that, you know, it's Eternium, it's magical. Death. I did it again. Death Adam. God damn it. Black Adam. Black Adam is magic. He was given powers by the sorcerers, by the wizards, but also he was sealed by magic. And it stands to reason that an ore that has magical properties could theoretically damage him because he is magical based. So it didn't require my mind to make the necessary connections and not be really bothered by it. I guess that's just me, though.
Yeah, I felt they could have done more. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, for sure, they could have theoretically done more. There might have been ways to insert more stuff. Less jokes with the kid. More Eternium education, please.
Yeah. I mean, the kid was definitely there too. I guess somewhat human. It was weird because I was going expecting like, are they going to sit there and make Black Adam a father figure? But they didn't. Thank God.
Which is good because no, it would have been great because he would have taught him violence.
And
That was
a
a
funny
good joke.
That was a good joke, especially when the kid's like, "Yeah, mom, who's going to teach me violence?" And I was kind of like, "Are you throwing shade at your mom that she's single or something?"
I don't think that was a single joke, but still.
I mean, I took it because to me, I was kind of like, "Is the kid just messing with his mother, or he's trying to say something?" It's just, yeah, mom, who's going to teach me violence?
No, he effectively had a big brother and a big brother in the house, and he suddenly was getting cocky.
Yeah.
When his mom, under normal circumstances, would be like, "Bitch, sit in the fucking corner." Oops, part of my French.
His uncle, I can't remember the name of his uncle, but I think my favorite joke was attached to him.
Oh, which one was that? Because he had a couple of them that were pretty funny. I died by electricity.
Yeah, that one when he came back. I died by electricity. It's fine.
He's fighting the army of the dead, and he has literally no fear because I died by electricity. Army of the dead? They don't have electricity.
What, you see in my future? How do I die? Oh, to stay away from electricity. But I'm an electrician. He just puts him to sleep, and he's kind of just like, "Well, what am I gonna do with this now?"
I honestly I thought it was really funny how, like, right after he puts him to sleep, there's that subtle, like, moment where of a few seconds where Dr. Fate kind of puts his hands out and kind of goes, and I'm sitting there going, are you measuring him because he's big, or are you trying to figure out how to put him in a box?
I thought that too. It's just like, because at first I was like, oh, he's just doing like, oh, now I gotta clean this mess up. But then like thinking back to it, it's like, yeah, you would definitely like measure it from head to toe. And I was like, is he gonna try to like make an illusion of himself or something? Like what? But then nothing happened.
No, they just injected nanobots into him, and everything is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But what was it,
Again,
Andrew? What was
the Cyclone not getting enough airtime?
Yeah, because they alluded to that, and honestly, it is interesting. See, it is unfortunate that we really never have enough time to, you know, go into that. That's a film. Her entire backstory is a film, you know. And I mean, I wouldn't say it's incorrectly written, because that's generally how you do that kind of stuff, because you don't just sit there and do a huge flashback on the backstory of any character. They drop little quibs, hints, and crumbs along the way, and you get pieces, and then you learn more about them. So that, at the very least, intrigued me. I would love to know more.
I think the issue is that it's easy for them, especially when doing like movies that have like superhero teams. It's easy for them to like grab like B tier and C tier heroes and put them together. But it's like, but would Cyclone? I mean, maybe a mini series, but she wouldn't be able to hold a movie on her own because she's
Hey, I mean, come on, that's not. We don't know
well,
that.
well, I mean, yeah, she could, but the thing is, when you take into account the state of what superheroes are right now, there's no room. Like it's not like with Marvel where you can take a like Iron Man, who is not a well known, I can't say well liked, but not a well known superhero, and he spearheaded, and he spearheaded the MCU, and because of that, they were able to bring in other heroes who were more on like the smaller, like they who weren't like A-listers, they were like B-listers and C-listers, but they were still able to make like solo movies of them because there was that superhero interest. We are unfortunately at the point now where we've not only gone past the peak of super. I mean, we're past Endgame. Even though DC and Marvel are different, we're past Endgame. So rather than do the smart thing and take like a break and kind of do a refresh, basically. I mean, it's a little again. Marvel and DC are different, but Marvel kept going and kept producing more shows and movies with heroes, but they weren't as interesting and they weren't as good as what came before Endgame. And unfortunately with DC, I mean they made the mistake of trying to play catch up when they
Well,
first
DC, we all
started their cinematic universe.
we all know
And
Yeah.
that DC lagged
and they made
behind when it came to
and
Marvel.
because of that they made a lot of missteps. So unfortunately DC Warner Brothers is in a position where like there's a reason why Superman showed up at the end at the mid credits of Black Adam is because they know they're at it's kind of like no, we in order for us to keep going and keep our cinematic universe going, they need to have movies with Superman, with Batman, with Wonder Woman, or have solo movies of their own. And Aquaman. I guess you can include Aquaman.
Well, they're the most successful of the
Yeah.
films that DC has managed to put out.
Well, yeah, because they're their cash cow. So now they're kind of they're banking on that.
Yes,
Because
and I see your point because at the end of the day, DC doesn't have the how would you say flexibility to sit there and say, here is this relatively unknown hero, let's make a TV series / movie about her or them. And it's like, oh well, actually, not a lot of people really know about that. Fans of this particular character will know about that, but at the end of the day, while it is important to make sure you don't disappoint fans, it is also extremely crucial in the cinematic, industry to pull in people that are otherwise not fans to come see your movie. That is the ultimate objective because while fans are going to come because unfortunately it's been abused and used for many years now, but slap nostalgia or something on it and people will come see it, and it has taken a while before it stopped making money, but it point is that at the end of the day, if you're going to make money, you're going to want to make sure that, well, I kind of lost my train of thought, but yeah,
So
whatever.
what's interesting to me is all this talk about it has to be Batman. So DC's most successful project was Peacemaker, and that's a character very obscure.
Really, in terms of just a
Peacemaker is not a big character.
but could it be because it's a show and not a movie?
Well,
Because I don't know how that works with shows. I mean,
Well, it's very easy to quantify a movie because look at the sales of the tickets, or look at and how much money it grossed worldwide, et cetera, et cetera. Where a TV show, that's a little bit harder to quantify because
especially with a
it's all about
streaming show.
viewership,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, it's just it goes back to even before, which is standard television and how ratings worked and everything. So now it's obviously the streaming industry now. So it's a little difficult to really, take one-to-one comparison. Well, actually, you can't. It's not a one-to-one comparison. They're totally different medium representations at the end of the day. One has a 2-hour to maximum 3-hour runtime. We haven't had a superhero film that's had 3 hours, but we had 3-hour films. But
Watchmen.
Watchmen was 3 hours?
I think so. Watchmen was absurdly long.
The movie.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
I actually didn't see it, so I had no idea.
Yeah, the
Well,
Watchmen movie is 3 hours,
okay, well, it's
not
well,
including the. I don't know if there is an extended cut.
well, at the end of the day, there aren't a lot of 3-hour films. You could probably count them on two hands in the last like 20 years. But it's you have a very limited runtime, whereas a TV series gets anywhere between 8 to 12 episodes that are anywhere between probably like 30 to 40 some minutes or an hour a pop. So they have a lot more time to present characters, present the world, build everything, and go from there. So, and then of course, it's the aspect of how they're measured in terms of air quotes making money, whereas films are very easily quantified from tickets, as I mentioned before. But shows that appear on streaming services, well, I mean, I think there are ways for you to look up viewership and how that brings in revenue.
There
And
is. I mean, there's ways to look up viewership.
Oh yeah.
and
As
how that
for
translates to
revenue,
subscriptions.
Yeah, like that's the thing is like, is it measured by? I mean, I don't know if I think HBO has an ad version of the subscription, so but there's no real. I mean, to my knowledge, you can only look up viewership and get an somewhat accurate number. But when it comes to like, well, how much money they made off it, there probably is a way.
But at the end of the day, I
But-
think if you wanted to just not really think too hard about it, you just get right down to, okay, so how many tickets did a movie sell? Let's just consider a ticket versus equals a view, So, well, how many people have viewed, Peacemaker as a TV series? Well, then you would quantify that, because if it might be too difficult to get together, actual sales and money and revenue, but it'd be a lot easier to just sit there and say how many eyes are on it. And if there's a lot of eyes on it, you can probably say that it's fairly successful, unless it's one of those series where it's just it's so bad but so good.
well, there's many shows like that.
They also
Oh,
have
yeah.
the help of the movie.
What
Oh,
was the
wait.
help of the movie?
Oh, the Peacemaker, obviously the Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it had
'cause
a little
obviously-
extra boost there.
Well, yeah, because if I would be very interested. Well, we don't have the powers of time; we can't go back in time. But it would have been interesting to see if it had been, reversed, where they started with the Peacemaker series and then showcased them in a film. Well, obviously, it doesn't really
I don't
track
think it
at
would
all.
work.
Well, that doesn't work technically, of course, because the Peacemaker TV series is based on what happens after the film.
Yeah.
So it would literally have to be utterly and completely redone. It would be a story about pretty much how he landed in prison.
And I think in general, I mean, I get it's hard to say given what Marvel. I mean, DC's a little different, but the thing about DC is that they haven't integrated their shows into their movies as much as Marvel has.
No, and I think I probably
So-
like
Yeah,
that
not at all.
more.
Yeah, so it's really hard to say of like, well, would have been as successful or more if the show came out before the movie. It's rare to do that, and typically when that happens, I mean, the only example I could think of is was The Walking Dead. Is that when Rick left the show, they said, "Oh, by the way, he's getting a trilogy movie series to finish his arc." And even then, they backtracked on that and basically said, "No, we're just going to give him I think like a 6 or 8 special after the initial Walking Dead ends." So
Yeah.
I don't think it's possible for a show or a character to show up in a show and then to appear in a movie and be as successful. Whereas you can do it the other way around, where I mean, maybe it is possible that
History has
like,
shown that it's the latter, or rather
Yeah.
the former, excuse me.
Yeah.
But because
like the movie comes out before the show, and then it's like, oh, people like this character. Okay, we can make
exactly,
a show.
because we've seen that in anime, we've seen that in other mediums, like where they come out with a particular whatever, it doesn't matter, and one particular character in whatever that medium is very successful, and then you have your spin-offs, and that's because that character was very, very famous. I mean, we're going to probably eventually talk about anime, but again, one of more, I guess, series that I've seen it very common is the whole the certain series, or the Toragaku no Railgun and Toro Jujutsu no Index. Those series are all come from, the original being Index, and they have a bunch of spin-offs from Misaka Makoto, Railgun, and then Accelerator as well. Like, you have characters, multiple different series, spin-offs from characters from the main series, because those were very popular, and that's just one example.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
who knows? Maybe they'll bring Cyclone back. I really do hope enough people say that we liked Cyclone that they sit there and say we should probably put her in something else and give her more of a more present role.
I would,
Or just honestly, just make a Justice Society show.
I was just gonna say, yeah. At the end of the day, if I can't get something like more like of a spin-off or one-off for these other characters to know more about them, then just give me a Justice Society film, or at the very least, give me just more characters. So I get to see more.
I would take all of these characters back. I mean, they were all phenomenally well done.
How many people are in the Justice Society actually?
Oh God, it's like the Justice League.
There's a lot of them, I guess. Well, give me the fact. Okay, you know how the Justice League has the founding members? What are the founding members of the Justice Society?
The Flash. I'm not even kidding. Jay Garrick.
Really?
He's one of them.
I mean, we're still getting a Flashpoint movie. Who knows?
Yeah, we are.
So
haven't I been hearing that for a while?
It's still it's coming out. We don't know when. Only that there's
still Ezra Miller.
Well, I mean, I think it's because they filmed so much of it. It's like at this point,
we've seen worse production hell.
You can't take him out the movie without remaking the movie.
I don't know. It hasn't stopped people from before. The same.
But it's also because I think with DC they want a Warner. Yeah, with DC, the Flash movie was supposed to reset their universe.
So this is
supposedly that's the rumors, because they're bringing in because I mean we've seen the teaser, they're bringing in different versions of Flash. There was rumors that what was it, Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, and Gal Gadot all happened to be in Hollywood at the same time. So there were rumors that they all showed up at the same time to film some scenes for the Flashpoint movie. There was talks of who's the one of the OG Batmans.
We have Michael Keaton.
Christian Bale.
No. Before
He's
that.
talking about. We have.
He's talking
Keaton.
about OG. Yeah,
back
Michael
when Tim
Keaton.
Burton first made the movie.
That's Michael Keaton. It's Tim Burton.
Yeah, Michael
right?
Keaton's one.
I was gonna say, okay.
The one that was in the Penguin.
That was Michael Keaton.
Oh, sorry, the Penguin. The one that was in Batman Returns with.
I know who you're talking
Wait,
about.
Batman Returns?
Yeah.
No. Oh wait, Michael Keaton was definitely Batman Returns. Batman and Batman Returns. Yes, he was the same actor, played Batman for both those films that were directed by Tim Burton.
I know which one you're looking for. I know who you're talking about. Eli.
It is Michael Keaton. Yeah.
It is Michael Keaton.
Yeah. There was talks that Michael Keaton was supposed to be in the movie reprising his role as Batman. I heard that.
Really?
I thought it was. Who was the other guy?
Well,
I thought it was Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer from Batman Forever?
Yeah. Did I dream that? I might have dreamt that.
Wait, Val Kilmer passed away?
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute.
No,
never mind. Sorry.
Who do you think it died?
No, don't listen to me. No, because I
Ignore
forgot.
me.
No, because when you said Val Kilmer, my first thought was that documentary they had about him. That was very unique because I guess basically throughout his whole acting career, he videotaped everything, and they basically made a documentary based on that. So for some reason, I immediately thought, "Oh, an actor got a documentary. He passed away." So,
No, that would be an autobiography.
yeah. But anyway,
Like,
don't
just
listen to
writing
me.
people off.
Yeah.
Mr. D here sitting there.
Mr. D with the delete button. Just nope, God, go away.
All right. Well,
But anyways, I guess as we're on the topic of shows, we could move on to House. Well, I could move on to House of the Dragon because you guys
I
haven't
say
seen
you're
it.
the only one who watched it.
Yeah, and
I'm sorry. I mean, at the end of the day,
and Player 6 is in here. But is there anything else you want to say about Black Adam or?
I
Great
more or less
cast, great, good movie, great cast.
What
honestly,
rating
it
would
was-
you give it?
Yeah,
Me?
7.5 out of 10.
I was gonna say something similar. I was just gonna go with solid 7.
Yeah, I was gonna go like 6 or 7.
6. Okay, that seems pretty low.
Yeah. Well, okay, because it was one. It's one of those things where like it's okay for a movie to have little problems here and there. It's just when I was watching the movie, I was kind of like I kept finding these smaller problems, and they eventually added up.
1,000 cuts.
But
still
it's
up.
more of a polishing thing than. Again, that's
Well, Black Adam 2 will obviously be amazing. So,
But yeah, House of the Dragon, because I'm the only one who watched it.
well, I mean, yeah, you say that at the end of the day, but I mean, I haven't really. How would you say? I try to stay away from it because I was hoping to eventually get around to it. Of course, I didn't. I have a backlog, and to be fair, I've actually been able to go unspoiled for the entire length of it. I guess at the just
You
I
know
can
who
always
you are, Evan.
excuse me, but yeah, at the end of the day, I can only speak from someone who naturally heard of it. We all saw the end of Game of Thrones and
You mean season 8?
crushing disappointment. So naturally, when you hear about, oh well, this is going to be House of the Dragon, this is the story, and well, me at the end of the day, I just like dragons, and that was fun. And now we're going to have no Khaleesi involved, so I was certainly hopeful. I think what I hear is fairly mixed opinions, but from what I've been able to gather, I think it's decent. Or
the reception online is that it redeemed. It did what no one thought what it would do for Game of Thrones, is that it redeemed. I wouldn't say redeemed, but it saved the franchise.
I'm not surprised because
after season, because around, I don't know, it was before or after, but around season 8, they essentially announced that they were going to do like essentially 4 prequels, or not 4 prequels, but like 4 spin-offs to Game of Thrones. And after the debacle of season 8, they essentially they brought back in George R.R. Martin, and he basically said, all right, we're definitely making this show. And they started, I believe around season 8, they already started filming House of the Dragon. It just took like 5 years to make.
Not surprising.
And everyone, and then they were sprinkling news about it all the time. And there was just like this skepticism of like, is this going to be good after season 8? Even though it's a different story, it's a different showrunners, different writers. George R.R. Martin is actually going to be working on it. There's that skepticism of like, because Game of Thrones it set the precedent of like it basically brought fantasy back into like the mainstream. without it being, because it wasn't a fantasy show. It wasn't a fantasy show. It was a show that took place in a fantasy setting, a more realistic medieval fantasy setting. It just happened to have magic and dragons and
Yes,
and zombies.
that too.
So, but the trailers were coming out. They were seeing. I think a part of it was that there was some hope because they were like, oh, Matt Damon's going to be in it, but he was the only like named.
Matt
Oh no,
Damon's
Matt
in
Damon.
it?
Yeah, Matt
I
Damon
actually-
plays-
Wow. Well, this
Yeah,
is spoiler
so
talk,
the
so
two-
but
yeah, so
I
the
didn't
two-
even know that.
I won't try to spoil as much because you should really watch the show. But the two big names were Matt Damon and Patty Constantine.
I do not know.
Now
who that
everyone
is.
knows who I mean, that name is a well-known name, but Patty Constantine, he basically should the like Hot Fuzz and Sean,
Yes.
not Sean, but the Hot
Absolutely.
Fuzz. He that's who he is.
Oh,
he-
it's the main actor from him. That.
No, it's not. No, not the main act. He's
It's not Simon Pegg.
Oh, it's not Simon. I forgot his
remember
name.
the
God damn it.
detectives? The detectives in Hot Fuzz?
Do you mean Matt Smith?
No. I'm talking about Patty.
No, I mean
Patty
Matt
Constantine.
Damon. Do you mean Matt Smith?
Oh, fuck! I'm sorry.
God damn it.
I didn't know because this is the meme. This is the meme. His name is Matt Smith, but he plays a character called Daemon Targaryen. So it got to the point where people were just like, we're just gonna call him Matt Damon Targaryen Smith because
That is kind of funny and confusing all at the same time.
Okay, but Matt Smith. Matt Smith is in it, not Matt Damon.
I'm sitting there thinking, oh my god, Matt Damon? That's a huge name.
No, Matt Smith is in it. Whoops.
Yeah, because I'm actually really okay. Well, that's a joke in and of itself because I
Yeah.
hadn't seen a single
Yeah.
goddamn thing on the internet.
Okay,
Not
but
that I'm
Matt,
looking.
but Matt Smith was the 12th Doctor. 13.
No, 11. He was the 11th. Wasn't he?
No, because there was 13 regenerations, or there was supposed to be 13, and he was the
Yeah, but
he was
Capaldi was
technically-
13.
so maybe he was 12.
You guys talking about who? Doctor Who? Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what
He
I
was
could
the
talk
12th.
about.
yeah, he was the
Ah,
12th.
Now I'm the one who's left out.
Yeah. No, Matt Smith was the 12th Doctor because I forgot there was like this weird thing where he regenerated certain but yeah, he was the 12th Doctor, Matt Smith.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Patty Constantine, he was more known for like a comedic actor. And they're both in the show, but I mean, like you see, because what happened? Because what it is that Patty Constantine basically plays King Viserys Targaryen. You would not think he was a comedic actor.
Comedy
that's
actors
good.
sometimes are they kind
Yeah,
of
no,
stumble.
he did like not even a 180. It was just like he was a completely different person. And then
Good
Matt
for him.
Smith, Matt Smith brought this really showed like, oh no, Matt Smith is a phenomenal actor. When he plays Daemon Targaryen, and
Is
those
Daemon-
two, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't really mean to cut you off. I just had a question. Because I can't remember. Daemon Targaryen is who is the Mad King?
He's not the so House of the Dragon. It takes place 120 years before the start of Game of Thrones.
Oh,
And-
what? I thought it was three. Or I'm getting freaking Rings of Power screwed up.
No,
I
it's
think.
about 120, and it's supposed
Okay.
to follow because what happens is that it's based off the book Fire and Blood, and in the book of Fire and Blood, it covers the whole Targaryen dynasty. The show House of the Dragon is only covering like the second half of the book, which is basically the Targaryen Civil War.
Uh-huh.
And it's not a major spoiler, but they kind of explain how basically, I forgot the name. Is it Jaehaerys? What happens is that King Jaehaerys, he basically brings like prosperity to the Seven Kingdoms, but all his sons end up dying. So he basically has to pick an heir, and what he does is he basically has the realm vote who the next heir is, which ends up becoming his son. It's a little weird because the Targaryens do a lot of incest, so it's hard to keep track who's who. Like, is it his son? It was an
Democracy at
uncle.
its best.
But basically, they vote in Viserys Targaryen, but then Viserys runs into a problem because he ends up having a daughter called Rhaenyra Targaryen, and he also has a brother, Daemon Targaryen. And long story short, basically, what starts the Targaryens or the first domino for the Targaryen Civil War, or as they call it in the show, in the lore, the dance of dragons, is that he basically says that his daughter Rhaenyra Targaryen is going to be his heir. And which, again, and Game of Thrones is based off a traditional medieval fantasy. It's very unorthodox for that to happen.
No, I mean, that's tracks. I understand why that would be an issue.
Yeah, and that's essentially like what the whole show is about, is that he basically said instead of his brother succeeding him, his daughter is going to succeed him.
Women are incapable of doing anything in medieval times.
and it's a very... It's not... I was about to say phenomenal. It's not a phenomenal show, but it definitely took the highlights, excluding the whole storyline of like the White Walkers. They do reference that in the show, like the Song of Ice and Fire, but that I really think they did that just to tie in the show into the House of to tie in Game of Thrones into House of the Dragon, because they want to make it a whole one big IP. But like that whole like supernatural plotline with the White Walkers isn't in it. So they basically focused only on the political side and took the highlights from Game of Thrones and put it in the show. And it made the show really good. It almost on par with the first 3 or 4 seasons of Game of Thrones. And there's also the plus side of like, this is back when the Targaryens still had dragons.
Yeah, that's kind of why I want to watch it.
Yeah, so I mean, I will say that season 1 is all setup. It's very interesting setup, but I believe it's getting 3 seasons, and then like the next 2 seasons, it's all out war. So we're gonna get dragon fights, and it's going to be awesome.
Now the thing is, you said something interesting. So what I don't mind, and I think we can all kind of agree, is what was Game of Thrones' problem outside of George R. Martin just not writing stuff. Anyway, Game of Thrones became popular, and it was yes, sorry, notifications in the background. But because Game of Thrones got so popular, it had to keep on producing stuff, and it ran into that problem where it's like, Mr. Martin, yes. So how are you doing on I'm not done. Right. Now, so what I like about what you said is that they're planning 3 seasons. Just 3 seasons. We're going to tell our story in 3 seasons. We're not going to sit there and do 3 seasons and go, but we want more. But it's done. But we want more. Okay, fine. We'll make more seasons until it sucks.
I mean, they plan on making more spin-offs.
Oh, of course, sure. But I'm referring to obviously the nature of tell me your story.
Yeah,
don't elongate it and drag it out. Tell me your story in X whatever seasons. I mean, case in point, another series that I really enjoy. Not to deviate too far from this. I'll just bring up this one point. But the next series, Lost in Space. Lost in Space had a narrative. It ran its narrative. It went 4 seasons, and then peace out. They were done. It doesn't matter if it was successful or whatever, and then there would be demand for more. It was just, nope, that was it. But we finished. We're done. Bye. And I would hope that House of the Dragons, just does that and, tells a good narrative and a good story. And we can be happy with a successful Game of Thrones series because, got to work out that sour taste in our mouth.
Yeah. I mean,
because that's
I think You can
Oh,
finish. your
sorry.
thought.
No,
No.
my last thought was because at the end of the day, even though the House of the Dragons is successful for the most part, everyone who who was a fan of Game of Thrones is like, okay, congratulations, House of the Dragons cleared the first hurdle. Now they have to stick the landing.
Yeah. And that's the part I don't, because I don't know. I mean, I kind of been sort of spoiling because it's like I don't want to know what happens, but it's also like, but I kind of want to know what happens because I want to know it ends good. But I mean, season 2 is coming next year. We're gonna get dragons fighting each other, and
I mean,
and
at the end of the day, that's all I care about.
The dragons look good.
All the more reason. I mean, at the end of the day,
They-
like that's kind of why it's kind of the philosophy I have going into the Rings of Power, where I'm kind of there for certain things. I don't care too much about like the original story or the lore so much because again, what got me into Game of Thrones wasn't I mean, I like certain characters, but the fact that I was watching it and I enjoyed the first few seasons, but let me tell you, when they mentioned dragons in the beginning of the series, I sat there and said, "So we're gonna have dragons, right? We're gonna have dragons, right? Well, no, they're all dead. No, screw you. We're gonna have dragons, right? And of course,
we did eventually.
and we eventually got dragons. So I was, and when we got them, I was very, very happy. Didn't like the person that eventually that it was attached to it because, well, I'm not gonna go into deep of how Khaleesi eventually became someone that was just a little annoying, but whatever. That's a talk for a whole other time.
Hot but annoying.
Yeah, whatever. Point is that at the end of the day, all I'm saying is that I'm in it for the dragons. I'm not in it for the lore. Because at the end of the day, I can be a stickler for certain things when it comes to the original narratives and lore. But over the years, I've just gotten to the point where if you could just show me something that I can get behind and enjoy, then I'm just going to enjoy it.
Yeah. There are some. It's more. It's like in episode 9. There's one moment where it's like not jumping the shark, but it's kind of like, so what you did was big, right? You're gonna address it, and then they don't address it.
Well, at least it's not nuking the fridge.
Yeah, it doesn't ruin the show. It was just one of those things where it's like, the best I describe it was that like they sat there and said, the episodes 9 is kind of slow. Well, it's all political intrigue and stuff like that, but it's kind of slow. We should end this episode with a bang. They used the wrong bang.
Clearly,
or they didn't use the bang right.
A misfire.
Flashbang
ever.
Yeah, so they have it where a character does something, but there's no. I mean,
who got shanked?
If there's repercussions, I don't know, but they don't address it in the final episode. So there is that, but overall, like the show it's good, and and the good thing about it is that you don't really need. I mean, from what I'm hearing, it's better than the book because the book is it's an unreliable narrator, so you don't know what is and isn't true, and the show is basically sitting there going, "This is the truth of what happened."
Well, yeah, an unreliable narrator is a difficult way of writing because there are literally times that you will have a character that is of that nature who straight up tells you something and then some chapters later goes, "Oh, actually, I what I really meant was this, and I was doing this in the background, and this is why, and this is whatever." And you sit there and go, "Well, fuck." I almost swore again. Well, crap. Yeah, because that's an unreliable narrator. You can't trust them. You can't it's not that they're lying to the readers. They present information, just not all of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just one of those kind of things. And it does not surprise me that translate. It's just the way the series works better. Not that, I mean, an unreliable narrator in media can work, but George R. R. Martin's writing is by no means bad at all. It's very, very good. I did enjoy his writing. It was one of those kind of writing styles where, you sit there and go, wow, it's incredible how he can be so descriptive, and yet all we've done is just talk this entire time.
Oh, look, another 3 paragraphs of someone's breakfast. Now I'm hungry. It's
Oh, see, that was the thing about not to go too much off on a tangent, but when I read the books, I only think I've read up to like, what was it? How many books are out? I think I got to the
there's
last book.
5 books. Yeah, I'm still like halfway through the second.
I've read them
book.
all. Yeah, I read them a long time ago. It was like
Yeah.
years ago that I read up to them, and I didn't even get through the final book that was out because at the end of the day, I just sat there and said, "Well, what's the point? He's never gonna freaking write them, right?"
Yeah.
And-
Supposedly he's 2/3 through the first draft of Winds of Winter, but
okay, congratulations.
but
I
he's also in his 70s. So
I don't have any. My point simply is that I got to the point where oh god damn it, I lost my train of thought again. Fuck it. Oh, there it is again.
sorry. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, it's a good show. The best characters are Daemon Targaryen, Viserys Targaryen, and surprisingly I gotta say his name right. It's not Aemon. It's Aemond.
I thought you were gonna say Amon.
No, it's Aemond. Aemond. Aemond Targaryen. Who's
Interested.
yeah, he was because they do a lot of time skips, and so Aemon you kind of see as like a kid and a teenager, then no, as a kid, that has like a young adult. Then no, hold on, I'm doing it wrong. As a child, and then like preteens, and then as a teenager. There we go. And just see like how like what he goes through in his character arc. It's like, yeah, watch it. Just watch the show.
I have every intention of eventually getting around to it.
Yeah.
I have, and I'm.
I mean, you got I think 9 months.
Why do you all of a
before
sudden
the
sound like Alan Rickman?
who?
What?
All of a sudden, C there sounded like Alan Rickman to me.
Oh well, I don't know what. I actually don't even know who Alan Rickman is, and I feel kind of silly because my ignorance.
It's like,
The name does sound familiar.
you guys don't know who Alan Rickman is? He's
I
Professor
am
Snape.
No.
Oh, he's Professor Snape.
Oh,
Okay, I don't know
I will-
actors' names.
I will
I
admit
just
for
know
like
the
a split.
characters'
I will admit for a split second, you kind of did. Now that I know who he is,
Snape, Severus Snape.
no, all you gotta do is just over pronunciate words.
Expelliarmus.
Page 394. It's just
Oh, I see where you're going with this now. I was just kind of trailing off in thought because I was doing something as I spoke, so I tend to just kind of troll on when I am in the middle of finishing the thought because I'm trying to let my brain get a couple extra seconds to think of what I'm going to say, so I extend my words.
I'll be honest, I thought you were just yawning, which is why you sounded like.
Anyway, that's my 2 cents of House of the Dragon. Talk
Mhm.
about it. I mean, not talk
Well-
about it. You watch it.
I plan to get it around. As I said, the backlog is big, and well, I have other distractions that keep me from getting around to my backlog.
Batman.
Well, in this case, it's Young Justice and Harley, but
Yeah, close enough.
actually, no,
Yeah,
wait,
I'm-
never mind.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna try to finish Young Justice before finishing Harley Quinn because they are vastly different shows. But
They are. It's not something I would probably try to mix because they're in the nature of each of them. One is
Yeah.
serious. One is pretty much satirical.
Or drop
What
off
is-
and watch Doom Patrol.
like one is serious and one you're just waiting for the Yuri. It's just-
Waited for the Yuri? The Yuri already happened in season 1.
No, but like it doesn't like I haven't caught it there yet, but it doesn't get to the point where it's like, oh no, it's actually serious. It's not just a joke.
I
It's
don't know.
not just
What episodes you get in season 1 of Harley?
two.
Okay, so you don't know. I'm not going to
No, I
say
don't know.
anymore.
Okay, all right.
Wow, you are
There's-
very early in it.
I thought you were much further along than that. I still haven't watched the
No.
last episode of season
Well, no, because
1.
I binge watched the first 2 seasons of Young Justice, and then I was like, you know what? Let me watch a couple episodes of Harley Quinn.
He was not prepared.
I was not prepared for the for the jokes in Bane. I was not prepared for Bane.
I'm still to
Bane
this day.
is so good.
He is so good, but I still can't remember what I didn't even know this show was a thing. I can't even remember where I saw the promo like trailer for it. And it was just so hilarious. You had Harley who falls into the Batcave, is hanging off of a string of her backside on her on like one of the, oh god, what is it, stalagmites or a stalactite? What's the ones that come from the ceiling?
You're forgiven for not knowing that.
I don't know either.
All right,
As,
but anyway,
as much as I take pride in getting a 98 in Earth Science, I still don't know the difference.
anyway, it's the damn things that come out of the ceiling. And she's hooked on it just with her ass hanging out, and she's like, "What's up, Batman?" And Batman's like, "What are you doing in my Batcave?" And it's just this really dumb dialogue that they share, and I sit there and go, "This is an animated TV series? Yes, I must see this immediately."
I mean, Bane DLC for Gotham Knights, please and thank you.
But it won't be that Bane.
All Bane is good Bane.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always enjoyed Bane. Bane is an interesting character in just about every rendition.
Speaking of anime shows, anime.
But which one?
I don't know because this season's stacked.
Do any
It
of us
is-
actually have a common thing we've all watched?
I mean, no, I don't think so.
Have you
Outside of
you haven't
Spy
watched
Family.
What is Spy Family? Yeah, I basically in my notes I put down Spy Family, Chainsaw Man, and My Hero.
Unfortunately for me,
but then it's like we're also watching Blue Lock. We're
yeah.
also
So,
watching
Yeah,
Witcher
but
Mercury.
Evan's not watching Blue Lock, is he?
okay.
I
So
know.
here's the thing. I've been pretty bad with the anime because I came into this season with I came out of the last season with a slight problem, and it's a personal problem. For whatever reason, I was watching a bunch of shows, and then the shows got to the end, and I just kind of just stopped watching them. And then the series ended, and then I kind of just didn't care anymore. So I thought to myself, maybe if I kind of just binge watch them once they get towards the end, I would have a better experience, and I wouldn't do that to myself. So a bunch of shows I wish I plan to watch, being of course Mobile Suit Gundam, Witch of Mercury, and Blue Lock are shows that I do absolutely want to watch, but I feel that I'll like it more and just enjoy it more by just blowing them all out in one go. However, that being said, I am watching what was it? It's three shows. There was I know it's Uzaki. I'm watching, and then I thought there was 3 I'm watching right now that I'm keeping.
Is it
up to date.
Ravencourt?
No, Ravencourt's another one that I need to actually catch up to and watch. And I guess, oh no, Spy Family, of course, right? So it's Spy Family, Uzaki, and I'm Tensai Shitara Ken Dashita, the sword reincarnated as a sword.
So,
I'm watching those because again, I mean, Skull Knight was an example of of the season before where the lovable goofball just charmed me immensely, and I ended up really liking the show despite its overall fairly generic fantasy setting and overall and overused isekai tropes, but I just really ended up liking it. Now, Reincarnated Sword is not nearly as good as that, and I'll just flat out say that for sure. But I'm a sucker for cute things, and Fran the little adorable Neko girl that is the sword's partner, she is just very enjoyable. But the absolutely the problem is that there really is no plot to the show. It's just she's adorable. I like adorable things, and the sword dude is a goof, and it's just a father-daughter kind of relationship, which I find pleasant and charming, because if it was anything else, I would not watch the show because that stuff annoys the hell out of me. So it hits a certain mark for me that allows me to disregard some of the more dumb things that happen, because trust me, there are some dumb things. Because, well, frankly, he's stupid and way too powerful and does almost everything. In the most recent episode, it was actually kind of good because they go up against this like greater demon, which is considered, I guess, a B rank, which is relatively high and not to be trifled with from a singles perspective. And she's fighting with this thing, and then all of a sudden the demon teleports out of way, teleports, disappears, and then all of a sudden, in a very brutal display, slices both her hands off. And she like drops her sword, and she's like pretty much in terror. And the sword's sitting there going like, "Oh shit, firewall!" And just quickly like heals her. I mean, he immediately solves the problem because he's so stacked. But there was a moment of like, oh, she had legitimate terror for a solid second there. But yes, at the end of the day, it's not really the greatest show, but it hits home for me. So, but I'm not too surprised.
Too surprised by.
What'd you say? What? I didn't even catch what you said.
Too surprised by what?
Oh, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised for myself, because at the end of the day, I kind of figured it was, as long as the show has a main character that isn't lecturous and or just obnoxious, I'm probably going to at least give the show a little bit more of a chance, depending on the subject matter and the tropes, and of course the isekai genre. If they can pass that, if they can give me that to start, I am willing to see where it goes. And cute little girls, or just hot girls, whatever, or make it all the much easier. It's why I liked, how not the Sum of the Demon Lord's first season. Second season kind of sucked, but that's besides the point. But at the end of the day, that's how it works for me, I guess.
No, it's understandable.
But adorable Zaki, now that's different.
I mean, how can you say no to that smile?
That smug smile.
Yeah.
Easily, yes, of course. I don't know. I'm a total sucker for this type of genre, and Zaki just knocks it out of the park for me. And of course, I'm up to date, at least on the manga series, and I'm not going to get to the really, really good chapters, but considering the opening theme and what's available and what they might be showing, the father is going to be coming into the fray, and once the father gets here, stuff gets really, really, really fun. So I'm very, very much looking forward to how this being animated. Season 1 kind of was a little slow, but because admittedly Uzaki's it takes a little while to get going in the beginning, but I really feel that once you hit the later chapters, especially what's being shown in season 2, it's just, this is all of this gets better and better. It's all downhill, and it's going to be great.
It seems like the trend is like you have to get to the point where the feels are starting to kick in, because it's kind of the same thing with Nagatoro, where it's like, as much as I don't like the initial chapters of the manga and the show, once you get past that hurdle and like the feels start to show, or the characters realize like, oh, he does this and I'm blushing, oh god, the charm of the series actually starts to come through, and you actually become invested because you actually want to see you want to see these two characters get together because anime and manga are notorious for just they're stringing you along, even though you know that these characters are going to end up together. They wait to the last second to be like, okay, they held hands. And
Okay, so
sometimes they don't even hold hands.
all right, so this is spoiler talk. So we all, so you and I, Deviant, we are reading Nagatoro. We both read Uzaki. You read Uzaki, yes?
No.
I'm pretty sure you don't. Okay, so do you have any intention of reading Uzaki?
Probably not.
Okay, spoiler. They get together. So the thing is that Nagatoro is still not together. We're really close, but we're still not there yet. And
I still think we got another year in universe for Nagatoro.
Well, and the thing is that I have a funny feeling that it is going to end with their relationship coming. It's not an impossibility that they'll continue on, and which I will happily have. But I have a funny feeling that Nanashi, the author, will pretty much wrap up the series once they become an item. Now, Uzaki, circling back there, that is not the case. They absolutely get together. Now, will they get together in season 2? I don't think so. There's too many things that happen with the father and then it's not until pretty much Sakurai and like the father becomes very aware of Sakurai and Uzaki, because eventually Sakurai starts going back to the gym and getting really back into fitness, and the gym, one of the gym, I guess, teachers or instructors there is Uzaki's father. And there's this whole big thing where, he's all bro and he loves Sakurai. He's just like, oh, this is good stuff. And then he finds out he's, really close with his daughter, and he plays the super over the top protective father. And it's really funny. But the greatest scene, the best scene, we're not going to get this season, and we might not even get it third season. And this is the scene when he gets super freaking depressed after they officially start dating. Like, he turns into a shrivel of a man, like a husk. And how he regains his vigor is so amazing, because we all, whatever. If you don't like the mom, then you need to be educated. But regardless, the mom feels that it's her duty to cheer him up. So what does she do? She dresses up. She tries to encourage him, and he goes, "Well, I mean, you put this on," and she puts on a maid outfit, and then that gets him slightly back on track. He's like, "No, it's still not enough." And she's like, oh, and then he's like, put this on. It's like, why do you have a pair why do you have a gym shirt and gym bloomers for me? And quite literally, the scene ends with him going from a husk of a man to being from husk to god bod in a second, regains all his vigor, then proceeds to take off his shirt and unbutton his pants and go, well, while we're at it, we might as well.
That's really funny.
Oh, it's an amazing fucking chapter. I dropped it again. It's great. It's an amazing chapter, and like I said, Uzaki only goes uphill. It's uphill. I say downhill because that's easier, but it continues to get better as you go on. But unfortunately, those Spy Family, Uzaki, and Sword are the only ones that I'm really like up to date and following. I think that Mobile Suit Gundam is a knockout. Amazing. I really am looking forward to that. First heroine in 30 years. But Blue Lock, Andrew, you said you started reading the manga for Blue Lock, right?
I did.
Yes, and see, it really is a different series. I said it before when we first watched it. It looks like over the top soccer Squid Game, and I've said it before, and
the leaps I've only watched the anime, but the leaps they go to justify certain actions, it's like this is bullshit, right?
But it's entertaining.
But it is, because it's like it makes sense, but then when you it's like for each like like explanation they do, it makes sense, but when you string them together, it's like it makes no sense. It's just,
All I want to see is
but
men kicking balls into other people's balls and knocking people's balls out with more balls.
it's just, like I really appreciated episode. Was it episode 2? No, no. Hold on. No, it was episode 2 where they basically explain like how because basically one guy gets kicked out and he basically goes
Not a
it's
spoiler. I'm expecting each episode for that to happen.
yeah. Where one guy gets kicked out after playing a game of reverse keep away. No,
Wasn't that first episode?
but second episode no, but yeah, but second episode they but basically basically the first episode the one guy gets kicked out and the second episode he basically says it's stupid. It makes no sense how basically a game of footsie keep away makes you good at soccer, and then the guy basically explains why it's a good exercise, and I'm like, wow, that actually makes sense.
Well, of course, we know he's a freaking raging.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say he's a psychopath because at the end of the day,
He's
he's a
psychotic.
very. Well, is he? Is he really? He's just
He's
an anime
nuts.
character that's very passionate about one particular thing and is cold and logical.
First name is fucking Ego.
Ego Jinpachi.
It's just like
I mean,
a
to
bit
be
on the
fair,
nose,
I
but
didn't,
okay.
I didn't realize that his name was freaking Ego.
His
But
name is Ego. It's great.
I think it's just a hilarious plot line that, again, in general, sports animes don't do anything for me because I feel that they're all the same. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand fully that that's slightly hypocritical of me to say when I sit there and I watch isekais. It's like, are you not tired of all the tropes? Yeah, whatever. Cute girls do things to me. I'm sorry. And then a lot of, sports animes tend to have an ensemble of magnificent men. And while that's great, I'm sitting there going, but where's the booba?
Well, this one it has one chick, but you don't get Booba.
Oh, she's
And
she
she's
was in
also
the opening.
Yeah, she's also insane too. they're all
Oh, yeah,
Of course,
no,
'cause
nobody's
he's-
normal. Soccer's life.
No. like literally it is life crippling the fact that you don't get to play soccer for Japan. Nani?
Well, I mean, like at the end of the day, I knew that there was because like any kind of I guess elimination death race kind of system, there needs to be stakes because if the stakes are not there, then we sit there and go, why do we care? Why would these characters care? Because if there's no, and all those people that are there are really passionate about soccer. And I sit there and
You
go,
have no idea.
and I sit there, and of course,
You
my
don't.
logical mind sits there and goes, so you're really passionate about soccer, right? Uh-huh. So you want to go into, you want to be a professional soccer player, right? And that's always been one of the things that kind of
It's
has
not even a
frustrated-
professional soccer player. It's basically playing on Japan's soccer team for the Olympics.
I mean, that's a wonderful goal, and being able to do that is obviously very important. And to be able to get that kind of highlight is something that many people would try to aspire to. And what I like what Blue Lock does is that this over-the-top intensity and the play off of that kind of passion for this particular sport and the people involved, it just kind of hilariously works because in other sports series, and not even just sports series, there's other series that do the same thing where it could be you're in a band or you're in a club and you just and you are doing this one thing and you sit there and go, well, obviously you're doing this thing because you really, really like it, right? Well, of course. And you are really, really into this. Well, yeah, absolutely. So you want to make a profession out of this? No, actually, no, I'm just going to be a salary man. Wait, what? So why are you doing this? Well, because I want to. But you're super serious about it. You're really, really into it. You really, really love it. but you don't want it to make it a profession. No, I'm just gonna be a salaryman. there's series that it's these characters are super serious, and it's just a high school club, dude. You're not even gonna plan to take this any further than high school. Why? And this circles back to a personal problem for me, because I look at characters like that and I sit there and go, okay, chill out. Just chill out a little bit. Which is why Blue Lock being in the position that it is with how crazy it is enjoyable.
It's very enjoyable.
Yeah, I've read the first 3 volumes, and again, it
How
it
many?
doesn't slow down.
Is it actually in the States?
The first 3 volumes are.
Okay, so it actually has been brought over to the States. That's very promising. I always like it when manga
Wait, do you read
series-
it digitally, or you actually bought the books?
I bought the books.
Okay,
I'm not surprised. I mean,
So
because
it's probably longer, but yeah.
well, yeah, they're probably further along if you're going to go by online sites and everything, but that's just the nature because it's further along in Japan. But I mean, it's always very good when we get the series over here. I'm still waiting on a couple of series that would be wonderful if we could get them over to the States, but must wait.
Made in Abyss never.
Well, Made in the Abyss actually has a manga series. It just has the freaking release dates are 9 months
No,
apart.
It's not even getting released online. This
Oh,
year,
we're-
we've only gotten like 3 chapters.
Well, oh, poor baby. I'm sitting here. I've given up on the online thing, and I'm just reading the mangas. I already have a release date for next year. I'm just patiently waiting.
It's just ridiculous. It's like just get to the 7th layer and end the series.
Well, that's the problem that I have with
Oh.
series that start having really insane release dates, because it's a me thing, but I really like series. I can really like a series, but what kills a series for me is when we suddenly have these really long breaks in releases, and then it just gets to the point where if you're just going to keep on having these very, very long releases, I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to want you to just kind of wrap things up.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not all series. There's a couple of series that
It's
I
only when
follow.
they start stalling. When,
I mean,
it's just when the releases between chapters or volumes get progressively longer. You just sit there. It's like, please end, because you're not getting that constant. It's not like Nagatoro where it's like, oh, the chapter's out. Oh, it's not. It's like the chapter's out. Oh, but it's not posted yet. Well, okay, wait 2 or 3 days.
I mean,
But
yeah.
usually it's consistently every 2 weeks you get a chapter. With Made of Abyss, you used to get a chapter every month, and then all of a sudden he just like.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, there are so many god darn factors that plays into it. Like case in point, I forget the guy's name. His first name is Yu, but he's the author of No Game, No Life. So I've only read up to volume 9 of the series. Oh no, volume 10. I'm sorry. Volume 11 literally just got released this year, and it's been about 3 years or 3 or 4, anywhere between 3 to 5 years before since volumes came out. And you read his afterwards, and he's sitting there going, yeah, it took me about a year and 6 months to put out this volume, and then it took me like a year and 9 months to do the following volume. And you sit there and just go, oh, that's why we have such a huge release date difference. Because when light novels typically first start and they gain traction and popularity, it's the authors put out 3 a year, and that's the low end. Yeah. And then so you're getting releases pretty quickly, and then naturally when they get ported over to here, we're getting a consistent amount. Circling back to Blue Lock, Andrew, you said that there was 3 volumes that have been brought over to the States, right?
Yes, I think they've just started coming over because volume 3 came out on the 25th.
All right, so that means I'll be curious to see how many chapters are available now. As in, like, was this a series that has been ongoing for a while and just got picked up, or is this a fairly new series in the last couple of years?
I think a while. Let me take
Oh,
a
well,
quick look. There's 21 volumes in Japan.
Oh, wow. Okay. Hello. That's means that. Well, that's actually good in a certain case. I don't mind when series do this. In fact, in some cases, I would almost prefer it because then the likelihood of having release delays is probably very minimal. Um, I remember one of my the series that because I'm a big Kentaro Yubiki fan, and I followed the Two Love Ru series. The original Two Love Ru series never came over to the States, and not even the Two Love Ru Darkness series did. But Seven Seas decided to license the entire series, all Two Love Ru and Darkness, all at the same time, and they had a simultaneous release. And the whole thing was put out over the course of like 3 years, both series at the exact same time. And they were consistent 3-month intervals for all of them, and Two Love Ru was like 2-month intervals. I prefer when it's like that instead of when things just stall because authors are they busy, they got shit to do, they have families, they have health issues.
It's mainly health issues, but
No, it's not mainly health issues. It's because we hear about the ones that get
no. No, it's always they stay up. They work 23 hours and they only work sleep, get off 1 hour
27
sleep a
CB,
day.
27 hours. They don't they go have to go back in time and sleep, so it's completely impossible.
So volume 4 comes out December 20th.
All right.
Then volume 5 February, and volume 6 in April.
All right, so I always find it kind of curious in terms of manga series and in terms of their adaptation, because it's always so I've only seen the first episode. Right now there's how many episodes out right now for Blue Lock? 3?
4
3.
came out today.
4 came out today. And Andrew, have you watched all of that today? Have you watched the 4th one?
I haven't watched anything today.
Okay, so of the 3 episodes that you watched, and comparison to the manga, where are you in the manga versus the anime and what you've seen so far?
The manga just finished their 3rd match. Episode 4 looks like it's going to get into the start of their 2nd match.
Okay, so all right. I'm always just kind of curious of how the anime adapts the manga, because generally in manga chapters are much, it's not a light novel series, so they convey more information a lot faster. Not to mention this series is I would guess, an action series. It's a battle manga.
Oh yeah, more or less. So the first 2 episodes covered the first volume. That's it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Episode 3 though looked like it didn't cover as much of volume 2. So unless we get the entirety of match 2, I don't know how much we're going to get.
Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of sports animes, well, because sports animes are kind of hit and miss in Japan, because we have a lot of sports animes that just go on forever. We have Haikyuu and what the hell is that cycling anime?
Pedal, something pedal.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, we have certain series that just don't stop. I mean, like Slam Dunk and a bunch of other things, but they have tons of episodes and they keep on going. And then you have those randy sports animes that come along and they get one season and then peace out, never. So I kind of hope that Blue Lock is able to continue. They have the material. Hopefully it's popular enough to keep on going.
I'm going to say they definitely have the material available.
Yeah, because that's promising. If they already have 21 volumes, that means it's over 100 chapters. Oh, almost 200 chapters, actually. No. It's probably more like 150 chapters.
The real question is, are we still in Blue Lock?
Wait, are we still in Blue Lock?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What?
I feel like my brain just melted.
Wait, you mean where you're at or where the manga's at?
Where the manga's at.
Okay.
I guarantee
That's
you, volume 3, they're still in Blue Lock.
Okay, that's why I was a bit
Oh.
confused because I was like, but did you just said they're on their third match? That would be interesting.
Yeah, because in theory, it ends with when Blue Lock ends, but
Well,
Yeah.
unless it's gonna pull like a Maze Runner thing, it's like, well, congratulations, you finished Blue Lock, and now there's another lock.
I mean, I'm still expecting the twist to be that. Oh no, they're not really training one striker. They're training a whole team.
And
Uh,
then it's going to be the ultimate showdown where they have 16 different facilities that are all training the ultimate striker, and then those 16 people are going to face off against each other.
this was only the facility in northern Japan.
Now, down in Hokkaido, we have someone that was that murdered the entire people. And it's okay. We're trying to make the most powerful striker. Proceeds to murder everyone and get to the Olympics, and surprisingly is disqualified after dismembering somebody.
Ah,
But
it's
did
easy
he
went with
score the goal? Yes.
Then it doesn't matter.
That's the winner's Blue Lock.
It seems he went with the Black Adam strat. just kill him.
I don't understand. Why does he aim for the goalie? He's trying to kill him. Although Spy Family continues to be impressive.
Yeah. We're only the anime is only up to chapter 26.
They've been doing. I don't really have a problem. I think that they're pacing themselves well. They're
And
giving
there's
us.
currently 69 chapters out.
Mhm.
So
That's
Yeah, I'm
hot.
following the manga as it comes out here in the States. I only just got to the end of the. No, I'm not even at the end. I'm at the. I guess you would say right at the end of the cruise arc. So, because Volume 10 will most likely come to the conclusion with that. Unfortunately, we're not going to see that until at least season 3.
yeah, that's down the line.
Yeah, because we
One of
still
the
have.
better arcs too.
It is a very, very good arc.
Yeah.
But I mean, Midnight, I do really enjoy. It's actually that's like my only the only shame about Midnight's inclusion because she's coming up, and she is so hilarious. This author, every time this author introduces a new character, I sit there and just go, okay, what's up with this character? And every single damn time I miss it. I can't guess correctly, and how they're gonna react. When Midnight hit the ground, I was not prepared for "I love you." Like, shit, that is hilarious. That is so good.
We were not prepared for how like she has such a stone face, but yet she's internally monologuing and doting on fucking Twilight.
Oh,
It's like, oh my god, I love you, you're amazing. I want to make babies with you. We're gonna make Spy Families amazing. It was like, oh god damn it,
she is
she's
so
sipping over him.
oh, it's so freaking funny, and she is adorable. And when you're finally like, because before the tennis match, actually, I think it's after the tennis match. Yes, it's actually after the underground tennis match. It's the first time that her face really breaks her stoic. Her face breaks after she's defeated by Yor. After Yor does the very standard Yor things. I'm gonna swing this racket and send this ball with all my strength. Oh, god damn it. The ball fell into 17 different pieces because I swung it so damn hard. I turned the wires into knives, and I mean, that's going to be a great couple of episodes and into the tournament, because the manga highlights very, very well the action scenes. But when you have such a great studio behind a series like that, it gets to elevate it to the next level. So that tennis match is amazing in the manga, and I am very excited to see that animated. And it goes without question that if we ever get to the cruise ship arc, that's also going to be an incredible scene, because we get to see Yor fight, like 30 assassins.
Yeah.
While her boss literally runs with a mop behind her.
It cleans up the. Oh my god, that whole sequence of when like the guy pops up like, oh, it's my turn, and then you don't even see the fight. You just see the guy on the ground. Yours already running to the next guy, and the fucking boss is like, oh, gotta clean this up now, and it does that for like 5 pages.
Exactly. And then what does your do? Oh, I think I stubbed. What is it? Like she crimped a finger or something.
Yeah.
It's like, oh. I was like, yes, because she's built like well, she's very built.
Uh,
But yeah, it could, hmm?
Out of curiosity, Eli, how long do you want this to run for?
think
we could stop around the 2-hour mark.
I think 2 hours is probably a decent
Yeah.
mark to kind
I
of
mean, we're not. I mean, there's no, it would be 3 hours, but there's no super chat, so yet.
We're getting a little ahead of the cart before the horse there. We have a whole grand zero
No,
people
but-
watching.
But episode 11, no.
Episode 11, maybe
No.
111.
yeah, no. But yeah, about 2 hours.
I think that's a fair, reasonable.
If we started earlier, as planned, I probably would have gone a little longer. But yeah, for now, like we got 10 more minutes.
No,
I mean,
I was
10
just curious.
Yeah, no, we got no.
Yeah, I mean, no one's saying that. Like, okay,
Yeah.
it's 2
The
o'clock.
plan wasn't the original plan wasn't to do this from 9 to 1. But
9 to 1, damn.
that
Wait.
wasn't. That was
Okay, 'cause I was gonna say that's not gonna fly.
no. The plan was like 9 to at latest midnight.
Yeah, like a
At
roughly
latest, yeah.
roughly 3 hours. I think 2 hours is a nice set regimen.
Yeah, 2 hours is fine.
Yeah, so it allows us to have our fun and chat whatever, and whatnot. And by all accounts, we've kind of talked about what we wanted to, and we talked about Black Adam, we talked about House of Dragon, we've talked about some animes, good stuff. Hope to see more, and we can save whatever for the next time. So yeah,
Well,
unless
I mean, just still My Hero Academia and Chainsaw Man, but
unfortunately those
Yeah.
I'm tapped out on the Hero Academia, waiting for the end of the manga series, so I could kind of just blitz it from where I was. And Chainsaw Man, it's another one of those series where I think I'm just gonna blitz it, and I was intrigued. I was actually, I'll just throw it out there because I'm not up to date, because I'll speak what I thought about the first episode. I was very pleasantly surprised because I was so worried when I heard that the main dude was, I guess, how would you say, lecturist or pervert, or I don't know. I heard that he was in some kind of capacity, the air quotes lovable pervert. It's a type of trope that I absolutely freaking hate. So when I watched episode 1 and I saw him, I sat there and said, no, this is actually this is being done correctly, because the lecturist characters died out back in the late 90s, early 2000s. They don't exist anymore, and they're for good reason, so where it's going, and as long as it keeps itself in line, I'm very, very happy to see where it is. And I, for all intents and purposes, really enjoyed the no holds barred, uncensored gore and the unrestricted violence that was the first episode. So I always appreciate, when the studio sits there and goes, well, we're just going to go all out, and, we're not going to hold anything back. Props. Okay. I'm all for it. So yeah, I want to eventually get around to watching it.
yeah. I just hope the staff isn't overworked because
that's I
because-
really hope that's not the case.
well, they're doing Chainsaw Man, they're doing Spy Family, and they just dropped the trailer for Vinland Saga season 2.
That's what B and C and D and F and E and F team are for.
Yeah, but these are like big names.
Of course, they have the AAA team, the
So-
AA team, and the A team. And then
When
everything
they-
else is outsourced.
Well, when they all be considered AAA though?
No, because they have a tier system. In order to be, you have to work on X amount of amazing projects before you can upgrade the AA, and then you can work on the higher tier animes. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I really hope that something like that doesn't happen because that's what kind of ruined. What was it? That show. Oh Christ! It was an Idol show that aired last season. About the guy that could see liars.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I never got around to watching it.
Oh, it was such a shame because I really enjoyed it and I was watching it every week. But then COVID hit the studio and they ran into production issues. And what ended up happening was they postponed. They did it in blocks of threes. So there would be like 3 weeks before they aired like 3 episodes weekly, and then there would be another like 3-4 like a 3-week break, and then they would air the rest of the series, or whatever. And it aired into the fall season, and because there were these big breaks, I ended up not finishing it.
Oh, that sucks.
It was really good.
It's almost what happened with 86. Only what 86 did was that they basically test skipping every other week.
Mm-hmm.
It just sounds like it was more egregious. Like, no, sorry, you're gonna have to wait 3 weeks because we have no one to make this.
Yeah, I mean, it really bugged me because I genuinely don't really like idol shows. But I just thought it was so hilarious that season before we had your boy combing, and I sat there and said, "What is this magnificent freaking show?" and thoroughly enjoyed it and watched it all the way through. And then here comes this show, and I'm sitting there going, "Wow, this production is amazing."
Yeah.
And the girls are great, and the story is good, and I'm rooting for these. And I'm like, okay, this is where the idol shows get their popularity because of like how you wanted to like want to root for them and such. I say this, and the irony is that don't you watch a lot of VTubers? I watch a lot of VTubers, and yet at the same time, I don't really like idol animes. It's very funny.
Yeah. I had a thought, damn it. I was holding on to the thought. The more you talked, the more it drifted, and like I lost it.
Yeah, that's my fault. I do apologize.
It's fine. I don't remember what it was now.
Well, it probably was that anything related to the fact that the studio that's doing way too many things.
Oh yeah, Mappa, yeah.
Mappa is an incredible studio. Oh, Mappa, why did you not do freaking Black Rock Shooter Final Dawn? You would have been such a good show.
They already had too much. Well, yeah, because I do remember hearing that there was a lot of complaints from the staff of Mappa about crappy working conditions. And I just realized they're also doing Attack on Titan. I don't know if they started that yet, but
I don't think they have.
But that's coming out. I think next season. I think.
Oh, January.
It's definitely early next year. I don't know if it's next season, but it's definitely early next year.
If it's early next year, then it's the winter season, which I find a little odd because normally I would imagine a show like that gets the spring or fall treatment. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, but it's Attack on Titan. It's the final. Like this is the final season or core or whatever they call it these now.
It is what it is.
It's the final stretch. So it's one of those things where it's like it doesn't matter. It could start airing at the projected worst time to air anime, and it'll still gain attraction because it's the end. And people want to know, it's like, how is it going to end? Are they going to stick with the original ending, or are they going to do a new ending? Because there's rumors that they were going to change the ending. There was rumors that they were going to do a fan ending. So,
yes. See, the fans want to know. Then you have people like me who sit there and go, I checked out like 40 episodes ago. I don't know. That stupid girl from really killed it for me. I can't remember her name. The one that just wanted Gabby. I think that's her name. It was just a bitch that you just wanted to see die.
She was more tolerable in the anime, but I understand.
Well,
40 episodes ago, you're not that far behind.
Oh well, my point is that
did you read it or watch it?
No, I watched it. I did not read it.
Okay, so you weren't okay.
No, I really got back into it, and I watched up to when I guess the quote unquote final season was supposed to air, which turned out not to be the final season at all. And I got maybe a quarter of the way through the series, and I don't know, I just kind of lost it. And I just no longer found it interesting as I did before. And I was like, okay, see ya. I think I had my fill. Everyone can have their fun. It's just not for me anymore.
Yeah.
But it will go down, and we'll wait for the next big hit. I don't even know what one that is going to be.
Yeah, I don't know what that would.
Well, that's a
I don't know.
discussion. That's a discussion for another time, because honestly, I don't even know. I mean, we have our shonens and everything, but I don't know of a show that has very, very extreme successful
Well,
popularity that is
it
an
would-
ongoing series.
It would be Chainsaw Man, but I don't see Chainsaw Man being on par with Attack on Titan, because it's too.
I guess it's probably a little.
It's
I don't
not.
know.
It's not a show that I could see it being mainstream.
Well, first of
too-
all, Chainsaw Man is
too
too
absurd.
episodic. No,
Yeah,
Chainsaw Man is also too episodic in nature. It by nature is
Yeah.
going. I didn't read the series. Andrew, did you read Chainsaw Man the manga?
I actually only ever read up to what episode 4 covered.
I've watched. There's one YouTuber who did a read along that I watched up into current. It
All
gets less episodic.
But the point is that
Right.
I kind of just figured going in that a show like this that deals with like the slaying of demons and stuff, it's kind of like, what Bleach was in the very, very beginning when it first started, where it was all, oh, we're going to go freaking hunt these souls or whatever. I can't remember what the fuck they're called. But this will be very similar where, okay, you're going to go around, you're going to be killing these demons. And there's going to be an overarching plot that's slowly introduced along that process. And I can see where that would be fine. I mean, technically, it's somewhat similar with Jujutsu Kaisen, because it is also a series that is about slaying, apparitions and stuff. And there's an overarching plot because there is an insidious individual and organization that's doing stuff behind the scenes, and every once in a while that comes into play to what the characters are doing. And Chainsaw Man can have the same narrative, but as you mentioned, it's a little bit more absurd.
Yeah,
And-
it's literally about a guy who can transform and summon chainsaws from his arms and head. It's so that's not.
It's a little
something
wacky.
It's wacky. Yes, that's the proper term. It's too.
Yeah,
I think it's a little too wacky for it to be mainstream like Attack on Titan.
it's not an impossibility, but I
Yeah.
think that you are right at the end of the day that for it to gain exceptional tracking would be a little bit of a stretch. Not impossible, but I know it's a very popular series. So
Yeah,
it is. I mean, we were hearing all about it for ages, and I sat there and said, okay, when's Chainsaw Man coming? I keep on hearing about this Chainsaw Man. I keep on seeing images about this Chainsaw Man. I keep on seeing nanoroids and figures being made of this Chainsaw Man. Where is this Chainsaw series? And then it's finally here, and I watched it. I'm like, oh, it's pretty good. Was I blown away? No, but I appreciate what the series is and what it's doing.
the opening's got style though.
Oh yeah, it's definitely got style. There's a number of series that have good openings this season as well. But I do need to get around to watching the others. Maybe not when we do our next podcast. I'll get around to watching more Mobile Suit Gundam and Raven Court, because those series I probably should really catch up on.
Yeah,
Especially
yeah.
Raven Court. I think that's the sleeper of the season.
that is. I think Tyler just best described. Were you there? No, you weren't there. He basically described it as like kind of like Spice and Wolf in its way, in its storytelling.
And that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
But I can also see where people would be kind of turned off by that kind of storytelling, because that kind of storytelling is not for everybody. It's a
Yeah,
lot
very
slower.
yeah. It's a more slow, grounded type of storytelling.
Oh, but she's so adorable though.
She is.
She is so fucking cute.
Hey,
Oh, I did it again. Damn it. That's 4 F-bombs this podcast. Ugh, gotta get it back.
We're gonna need a coin jar.
You're gonna have the swear jar in the corner. God bloody effing damn it.
Just put a counter in the corner of the stream. It's
Like, I'll be
Exel's F bombs.
Oh Christ! I'll do better next time. I can only make a simple promise that I will try. For all you kids that are not watching with our 0 people and 0 views.
Alright. Well, anyways, we're heading
horrible things.
So, you never know, there could be-
until a year later where we start getting traction. It's like, wow, I want to start watching from the beginning.
And then some poor freaking 8-year-old watches our streams and hears all the terrible things that we say, and then complains to their mother, and then I don't know, something bad happens. I have no idea.
Have you heard 8-year-olds talk?
I don't want to hear 8-year-olds talk.
Mommy, he
Don't
said
say-
curse word number 11.
Oh yeah, no, trust me, they're saying way worse.
No,
No,
they're freaking sailors. They swear like sailors.
It's the damn internet. It's us. We're the problem.
I ain't the problem. Call of Duty was the problem.
Oh, don't get me
Oh
started
my
on freaking
God.
that. But that's no. That right there is a whole separate topic of conversation. Children and parents and video games, and we'll go down that rabbit hole maybe one day, but not tonight. Not tonight. It's we've been at it for a couple hours, and I can get traction that can go on for hours on that, so I will not freaking touch that.
Translation, don't get me started.
I have ammunition for days.
Uh,
So we calling it?
yeah,
I think that's a good place to stop.
that's a good stuff. Next week, yes,
Or
next week.
at least next
Next-
week or next podcast.
It's next week, next Sunday.
Hey, come on, we have
Well-
we have lives outside of our lives.
And not at night. No.
God, nerd.
Anyways, next podcast we'll be talking about the Arcane, because next weekend, well, technically not next Sunday. I think it's the 6th on the Monday is when Arcane started airing. So we're gonna do a
Is it
1 year
season 2?
anniversary. No, it's just a 1 year anniversary.
Is there a special, or is it just that they're rerunning the
No,
show?
I'm just saying we are going to talk about Arcane because it's been a year.
Oh, it's
Oh,
been
so I
a
should
year.
watch it.
Yeah.
Ah!
You
Whoops! I should probably watch it. Oh, only the most critically acclaimed animated
Well, you
series
gotta-
of the year.
You got a week.
All you have to do is watch some of it. It doesn't. It's not like you have to watch the whole freaking series. Just enough to get your toes wet.
Well, he's got to get to the. He's got to watch more than the first 3 episodes because there's a time skip. So
All you need to do is watch the first episode to know that Arcane is very different than the rest. And that's enough to get you some talking points. Well, anyway, it's been a blast. And for all you 0 people and all you 0 watchers, thank you for listening. And for future people, lovely. I hope you enjoy our ramblings. I've been Corson Exel, and good night.
you want to say your goodbye, Hatter?
I mean, isn't this your show? I was gonna have.
You
3
can still
goodbyes.
say goodbye.
We only did 1 goodbye.
You could do a plug-in. Just say hi.
Plug
Hi,
in, but I'm
bye.
not plugging.
I don't have a plug yet. Wait for it.
Just well, anyways, I'm Deviant. You can follow me on Twitter and Patreon. Every penny counts. It helps. And thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.